Greetings, comrades! Welcome to another episode of our Victoria 2 playthrough. There's still so much to explain, and I am so happy for that, because otherwise this would just completely be a boring thing, wouldn't have that much to talk about, but there is so much to this game. Like, what is factory throughput? What is prestige? To give a very brief example of both, prestige is the prestige of your country, how much it's known to others, and that affects your total score, which is used to calculate great power status. Top 8 countries in the world with score are the great powers, and if you have a lot of prestige, I believe you also get priority in the world market, which is another facet of it. Right? If you have the most prestigious country in the world, then it doesn't matter as much if you don't have a single sphereling or if you're in someone's sphere, because whatever goods are put out into the global marketplace, your pops have first dibs. And so they still don't have as much of a seniority as, say, if it was just from your own production, obviously, or if it's production from a sphere master or a sphereling in this case, but you would still not really be lacking for resources if there's any sort of surplus at all. And at the start of the game, there is a great deficit in coal, as I said before. So the fact that we produce coal is very nice, because that means we can also produce glass, and glass is also in very high demand, which means that you can sell it at a good premium. Let's see, there's prison. I'm not really going to read through the events, so if you want to, then pause the video. We don't have aristocrats or capitalists, so it really doesn't matter for that one. We're just getting more inventions. Let's see, right now we can see what our top production things are. And as it stands, we only produce 4 things, 4 goods. Just grain, glass, coal, and wine. And that's going to largely remain the same through the game, except we're also going to produce a lot of liquor, and I mean a great percentage of the world's production by the end game, even though we, of course, at Serbia, only have a fraction of the population of other countries. We will beat them, or we'll be rivaling them in the production of liquor. That's going to be the real wealth of our nation is going to be built on alcoholism throughout the world, honestly. And that's why wars are going to be really shitty for us. Because wars in this game are extremely expensive. Prohibitively expensive, if you will. As you saw in the first episode, the cost of supplying our military units is 9 euros, or I believe that's euros, or it might be pounds. I think it might actually be pounds because this is the Victorian era, so it's just symbolical of how the United Kingdom had the most influence in the world during this period. But yes, 9 euros. That is more than the rest of our expenses combined. Now granted, we're paying our administration shit, we're paying our army shit with actual salaries, we're paying for education very little, but still. War is extremely expensive because it means you have to take your supply all the way up. It means that you have to maybe build more units, which also costs resources. Like if you look at, because we have the salaries very low, we don't have very many soldier pops, so we can't actually construct any more military units. But we have these 2 brigades, which will be more than enough. Because I don't believe we're ever going to actually be in a war. Now, as I was saying, war is extremely expensive for just the fact that it consumes so many resources. In order to supply those resources, the AI in this game is not all too bright, and so it will just end up having around just a budget that's making a little bit of money, and then it'll spend it on shit, and it'll make a little bit more money and it'll spend it on shit. And I don't think that the AI will ever have that much of a cash reserve. I could be wrong on that, but the AI very easily can have a lot of debts, which is the loans given right here. Now, we don't have anything in our national bank, which is a private thing, and it's something I'll just get into another time, I'm sure. But just war is expensive, and because war is expensive, the countries will raise their taxes, which means that the general population will not be able to buy as much stuff because they don't have as much money because of these wars. And so when big nations like the USA is in a war, right now just the Mexican-American War, yeah, I believe this is the Mexican-American War. Actually no, it doesn't seem to be. Wait, yes it is. Okay, never mind. I think they get the historical United States territories from Mexico with this war. Yeah, because America, the USA has cores on this, which just means that they have a desire to get the population. Yeah, it's not really that important. What I'm trying to say, I keep getting sidetracked because there's so much to this game, so I hope you'll forgive me. Point I was trying to make: big wars with big countries means that the demand for your goods can fucking plummet, and that's gonna be what kills us. And so I'm going to try to balance that out somehow by having a mix of what I'll call just civilian industry and then war industry, even if we're never going to be in wars ourselves. If we have a couple of factories on standby, which we can just prop up as soon as a war happens, making artillery, making bullets, making all that stuff that you need for a war, then we can make a positive balance even when these big wars drive demand for other goods extremely low. So right now, just keeping track, making sure. Ooh, okay. So clergymen are sadly getting a little bit too much of their luxury goods. So we're actually going to raise taxes and decrease budget, or maybe we can just raise taxes. Let's see. No, we'll have to lower the budget just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and it's a little bit silly that we're going to this extreme just to not have any chance of having aristocrats. God fucking damn, it's doing it again. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have very bad industry, or education, I mean. Though we are going to have bad industry because we have bad education. That's also true. Let's see. We want... I don't even know how you'd pronounce this. Biologism? Biologism? And keep in mind, I am trying to get a biology degree from college, so I should know this, but I've never seen this word. I just see it as biology. So let's see. Yeah, this has the Darwinism invention, which gives 50% extra educational efficiency. And that will be huge for us because we are, of course, not going to have very much educational spending at all for a while. Our literacy rate is going to be staying extremely low. We start at 10%, we're up to 14%. Not really doing too well. But we are making a lot of money. That is good. We're getting technology that's primarily suited towards helping with producing research points. Oh, there's the anarcho-liberals. And then we're also just getting where we can to end up helping with our very primitive industry. And when I say primitive industry, I just mean no industry at all. Just production on farms and mines. So now we're starting to actually produce fertilizer, which is strange. I would have thought we'd start producing cement instead because that uses coal. I guess our artisans are starting to produce, yeah, fertilizer, clothing. They're starting to produce liquor, which is good. There's nothing in particular that we have even a single percentage of the world's supply of, but after a while we're going to see that happen. And artisans are doing okay. Some of them are doing better than others, but that's to be expected. As I said, because of coal's rarity in the start of the game, it's not produced enough for the amount of people that need it, then production of glass is really low, which also means that production of liquor and wine is very low. And so those are both going to be extremely profitable industries right now. And what we just witnessed, if you're looking at the map, is the German Empire is forming, or was formed now, from Prussia. If they select different things, then they can get either the North German Federation or just plain Germany. And I think they just end up getting German Empire, and they didn't even have to form Northern Germany first. Typically you see the North German Federation and then you see the German Empire. But this means that in all likelihood Germany is going to be the foremost military power in the world. And that's because even if it's not the most populous in the world by far, with the United Kingdom 40 million people, the Russian Empire has 18 million people, the United States has just 4 million, but with immigration it will be a monster of a population base as well. But the German AI, as far as I know, focuses a lot on military tech, or if it doesn't, it's just the fact that they have such a high literacy rate that they end up getting a lot of tech. And because of that, they end up having the highest quality army in the world, which is true to the real life counterpart in a lot of ways. And so they are just going to be able to destroy anything that they come to war with. Probably. Like, if I had to guess, war between Germany and France, Germany's gonna win, no doubt. Germany versus Russia, Germany's probably gonna win. And I would say even harder than they'd win with France, though maybe not, because Russia's technology is just so low. If we hover over right now, we see they have 99 brigades. We have 2, keep in mind. Their military tactics is 75%. They have 8 military techs. Germany has... oh, they actually have lower military tactics. That's very important for an army. So if they were to go to war right now, then I would say Germany might lose. But they do have 11 technologies. You can see France has just 7 technologies, very low amount of military tactics. And then the United Kingdom also has low military tactics and lower tech. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's not going to be that important to us, but if a war between Germany and Russia happened, which it probably will at some point or another, then it could be very bad for us just because we lose the Russian market. You're never really going to have any of the big countries be annexed, though. You're just going to see them be weakened. And so I don't think that even if they were constantly at war the entire game, that the German Empire could take the entirety of Russia over. Oh, and we have our first crisis. We'll go over that and then we'll end the video. So you have crises, which is just, hey, there's this event that's causing tension, and so the whole world should weigh in on it. If you don't weigh in on it, one way or another, either supporting or being against something, then you lose prestige, and you back this with your military. So if the crisis gets to the highest, right, so here you can see 445 days. If there's no diplomatic solution reached, then war will break out between currently Russia and Spain and the Ottomans. Right now, they're trying to back Greece, which is just a tiny little thing right here, right now. It's actually in the Ottoman sphere of influence, but they have cores on a lot of the Ottoman territories, the Aegean Islands, Thessalia. And so right now, that's actually what they want. They want to get Thessalia. That's a core of their nation. And so they're currently getting Russia's backing for it. And Spain is backing Russia. As we can see, the UK would back the Ottomans. Germany will back the Ottomans. France will back Russia. And Austria will back Russia. So Russian Empire plus Spain plus Austria plus France versus the Ottomans, the Germans, and the English, or the British, I suppose, plus all their territories. Who would win? And as I said before, I think if it comes push to shove, then Germany will just mean that they end up winning. But I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure if France and Austria and Russia, and I guess Spain isn't really going to make too much of a difference just because they don't have that much of a population and they don't have much technology. But all those together, fighting Germany, they could maybe beat them. But this probably won't even happen. The crisis will probably be resolved diplomatically with the Ottomans just giving them the territories But that's just something to keep in mind. Crises can cause global wars to happen. Right, well, that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.